What's up, everyone? Eric here again, back at it. So, today we're going to make this probably a little quick because we're going to review some trades. Only took two trades this week. Very, very slow week for me. I've also been busy, but we're still going to review trades anyway. I was still in the market. I missed, the 2 days I didn't trade out of 3 days I didn't. I was just sitting there watching, okay? But that's just some part of the game, something you got to deal with. There was nothing there. But anyways, we'll line this up real quick. So we're going to review these trades here. I'm going to cover some of the stocks you guys wanted me to look at. I'll review them for you, give you my thoughts and analysis on that. Um, and then for some of you that are watching this inside, the learning channel, for those of you who are subscribed, if you have that channel in the Telegram, I'll put some more stuff in there that we're going to talk about afterwards. I'm not going to keep it long for this video here, but I think it's some good information you guys want to know. Basically kind of dealing with price action. I think it's going to be great because this is going to help you maybe understand it a little bit better. And I know that I remember when I started out trading, studying all these videos of price action and candlesticks like that. My focus and vision of how price action works changed after I kind of knew these things. So I think, just for you guys that are subscribed in the learning channel, I'm going to, kind of cover that real quick with you guys, but I think it's going to help a lot of you because for some reason this week, I mean, this is for you guys to ask me looking for like some certain stocks. A lot of you guys were asking me about some of the movement throughout the market with certain stocks. And from what it came down with a lot of you guys' questions that you were messaging me, it was really mainly like price action that was kind of hurting you a little bit. So I think just kind of going over that for you guys will help out a lot too. So, but let's go ahead and get into reviewing my little two trades here. One was positive, the other one was negative, but you know, it is what it is, right? Still green overall between the two trades. It was good there, but I think it was a good week, even though it was a slow week, not very profitable week. Got to get into that rhythm of being disciplined still, and we'll talk about that in a second. Because when you're in certain market cycles as a trader, you can easily lose, track of being disciplined and things like that if the market is consistently going your way. But as as a trader, you got to learn to humble yourself, even when you're on, like hot streaks and things like that. So, market will always humble you. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. The first trade on Monday was ACON. So let me go scroll over here to Monday. What was that, like the 8th or something like that? Yeah, I believe it was. Had to been. Look at that. Yeah, it was the 8th. Okay, so look, this is pretty much where we were at here with this. And I'll kind of quickly just kind of break down my thoughts on this bad boy. So when I got in this one, I actually did pretty well. This kind of like actually played out almost to the T of what I thought it would be. So obviously we got that first alert from the alerts channel. Let me see if I can actually jump to that on here for us real quick to that date. This was probably the first, no, it wasn't even the first alert. We got it volume spike at 509. For those of you who can see it on there, right here. So we got that. Oops, sorry. Clear that out. Back over there. All right, so we got that volume spike there, usually, at 509, early in the morning, right about here. So when we got that initial spike, I thought to myself, I mean, that's a big jump from, 3 to 5. So obviously, it's pre-market, right? I'm not chasing nothing pre-market. Just doesn't make sense. But I'm going to do the pre-market trade. What am I going to do? What I tell you guys to always do after we get a volume spike. Look at the stock, wait for it to pull back, plan your entries and exits accordingly, right? So I'm obviously, my goal was to try to plan it for like this candle here. And right in between, you can see here where that wick is at. Pretty good, indication of like, that's where some indecisiveness is when it comes to this trade. Now, obviously, minute comes past, and you can use your indicators as much as you want. Obviously, if you want to quickly, you know, scalp this one and get in and get out, like one of the strategies I teach you guys in the beginning course, then yeah, this would have worked out perfectly. Um, but again, I wanted to wait till, some solidification was there. Pre-market is usually easier to trade, and I know this obviously from doing this for a long time. when your broker can allow you to do it because there's not a lot of volume, not a lot of speed. It's much easier to just kind of wait for something to be solidified. Okay. So, anyways, my goal entry was to try to enter in around here. Okay, this first candle wick at the top of it, because I know that if it doesn't pull back here, or if it pulls back here and just holds, then that's going to be a good level of support that market makers are pushing it to, right? So pretty simply, obviously, if it breaks below that, I would cut my losses or maybe even scale in to see if there's another level of support depending on how I want to attack this bad boy. But I got in this thing at like a 533 level because I wanted to wait a little bit for that support to be there. But this is a key area that I was looking at here, and if it would hold here, perfect. And that's exactly what it did. So as you can see, let me make it a little bit smaller. So spiked up, pulled back, held right at the top of that initial candle. Level stayed the same, level stayed the same, level stayed the same. And as I'm looking at this, there was too much back and forth. And obviously this, looking at the indications right here, things are starting to turn up. So you can see even like around this area pretty much is where I got in, right? And then just let it ride. It didn't pop as much as I would hope it would, which is fine. Still wait on a little bit of pullback. Worst case scenario, I could have broke even or just, held it on through. And then it popped again. Now at this point, I'm taking my little, taking my profits there at that point. And then if you want it to be, greedy, obviously you would try to hold it through the pre-market. You guys know me. I'm not, rule of mine, if you get in pre-market, you get out pre-market. We're too close to the opening bell. Not enough action coming in at this time, so I went ahead and just took my profits. Pretty pretty simple, pretty simple. And obviously you can see opening bell, if I would have held on and been greedy, yeah, I was okay with letting this run. If it would have ran, I would have looked just for more levels of support. That's all you really had to do here. But that was ACON, and look, it pretty much just filled all that out. And we'll circle back to this when I talk to you guys that are reviewing this in the learning lounge here with this video at the very end. We'll talk about this, but this is going to be a good review for you guys, who wanted to kind of pick the brain on that one. But yeah, just waiting it to pop up, looking at a good level of support. I wanted this candle here, to be a good level of support to hold as it pulled back, and it did. So I waited for it to turn again. Got in initially when it started to show signs. I was ready to cut my losses if it would have dropped. But it played out kind of like how I thought, and boom, took profits. Pretty simple. All right. Now let's take a look at the one I didn't profit on. Take a look at Zcar. I did this for ZCAR. We did get this alert here. Let me see what day was this. Tuesday? I think this was Tuesday. Sorry guys, I'm trying to make this as quick as possible. Anyway, still need to find the alert. Yeah, it was Tuesday, the 9th. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and pull this bad boy up. Oops, sorry. Make this a little bit more easier to read. For those of you who like to look at the indicators, we need to go back to the 9th. And really with this one, I think I kind of just, I think I got in just too late on this. That's pretty much what it was. I mean, we got alerted of it really early. We got alerted what, at 6:30 a.m.? When's the 9th? Yeah, we got alerted with this bad boy. Pretty like right at opening bell, we kind of got alerted with the little spike up here, right? And then it pretty much just grinded throughout the day, grinded throughout the day, grinded throughout the day. I got in at what, $5? I mean, not $5 there. Let me see if I can pull. And I'll post the results for you guys afterwards too. But I got in at $7.44, which was horrible, horrible, horrible. Voila. Okay. So pretty much it grinded throughout the day, right? Grinding, grinding, but it was grinding up. It was a low volume. It wasn't low volume day, but I mean, overall the volume in the market was horrible, pretty much throughout this week. But with this, I was kind of looking for a sort of a trend and a pop into the closing bell, which it did happen. But I got greedy and just kind of held it a little bit longer. I was hoping it would do something, especially coming off the previous day. I was like, yeah, it's a good day, so I had room, a little bit of wiggle room. Problem is, when I did get in way up here after hours, it just stalled out. I was hoping it would run a little bit, but it didn't, which is fine. I mean, it grinded down here all day. I could have, I figured it was just going to continue its downtrend. Obviously, this was power hour right here. My dumb self didn't even think of that. And with it had being, I think it was a higher percentage gainer or one of the most highly volume traded stocks based on what was there, even though it wasn't a lot of volume. Obviously, action in pre-market or action in the power hour was coming through, and I didn't really think about that at that point because it was a long day. I mean, as you can see, it just grinded between $4 and $5. Wasn't really much movement. But then, I mean, obviously, if you're holding like at a good level from the alert, then you're in positive territory here. And then it starts to pull back, which obviously the volume's dying down, and you can tell that. And then it pops into the right at end of the closing bell, like I tell you guys in the course. I timed it bad, just a bad trade. Happens to the best of us, and I just went ahead and wasn't patient and took my little loss there. Obviously, you guys know I wasn't going to hold it all the way into after hours, which is good because the volume died down, and I'm not going to swing trade this because it's not worth swing trading in my opinion. But hey, could have got out there, but then hey, took the loss, and that's fine. I was wrong. It happens. You're gonna be wrong as a trader. You're not gonna be 100%. Just be okay with managing that risk. And I did. I did pretty good. I got out when I told myself I needed to get out, and didn't try to be greedy, and only lost $75. Still a big percentage. Just like it was like 2 to 3% that I lost, but you know, it is what it is, right? Those are my two trades for the week. The rest of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, was just horribly slow. No setups that I could find that I felt comfortable with trading. And so I just let it go. I mean, you got to do that sometimes, guys. Even though alerts are coming through, again, you don't want to trade every single alert. Those are just kind of giving you the heads up. Hey, look at this one, see if it's fitting your strategy. Hey, look at this one, see if it fits your strategy. And that's all you do. But you're being constantly told which ones are going to be the most opportunities to be able to do something with. Okay, that's the whole purpose of it. You need that to know, because obviously if we're looking at it, it's possibly that other traders looking at it, and it can run. And you've seen this countless times since we started this thing back in 20 or something like that. Anyways, show goes on, guys. That was this week. Slow week. It's 1st of January. If you know your market cycles, this is normal. We got market's going to be closed Monday, so it's going to be a short week coming up. But then as January starts to die down, it'll typically pick back up a little bit more into February, then March, and there's a little bit of slowdown coming down in April, quarterly releases and things like that. So yeah, market cycle, guys. Gotta understand it. I teach you that all the other videos. If you don't understand, go look at them. But that's my trades for the week. Enjoy. Now, let's go ahead and get into real quickly these stocks you guys want me to look at and analyze for you. Okay. Well, it's only about five of them. I'll just kind of briefly touch on some of them real quick. Let me see here. Some of you guys were asking about. Well, let's do the ones you guys want me to kind of like swing, kind of look at like as far as like swing trades kind of thing with upcoming possibilities, and then I'll go into like the last little review of one of the day trades for you. And then for the rest of you guys that are, in the learning lounge, and of course, stick after that, and we're going to be going into what I was telling you about what price action that you need to understand. So let's take a look at the first one here, CIFR. Sorry. I can't stand that. I have to do this all the time with TradingView, but you got to do what you got to do. Okay, CIFR. Somebody had asked me, I believe it was Tim, wanted me to look at this real quick and kind of give you my thoughts on. Well, obviously, pretty much you're gonna look at like swing trading this. I believe it was this one. And then Kim wanted me to look at. All right, okay, so let's look at this one here on a swing trading level. So, what do you know about CIFR as a trader, or maybe even just an investor in general? Just looking by the chart, I can tell you it's not that great, uh, pricing wise, but look at some of the past history. I mean, it's pretty much been grinding out for what, the last few months here or so. It's been trying to do a little something. Looks like it's capping out at like a lot of selling at the $5 mark, and then a lot of support at the $1 mark. So you got like a $4 range there that you're working with. It's on the downtrend, so I think it would have a little bit more leeway to pull back a little bit just from price action alone. Looking at this chart, it's getting filled from where it was at there. So you're and right now it's coming up on that level to establish support to see what's there. So you got a good range to possibly enter this bad boy based on if you're even if you're just drawing a trend line, probably within that $2 range. Okay, if you're going to swing it to the upside. They got what earnings coming up here in March. I mean, that's earnings season. So yeah, I mean, this would be a decent hold if you had time to hold it into that time frame. The problem is you don't know what you can anticipate from the earnings. I mean, look at in the past, right? This was in the earnings. This was in earnings. All the ones with E's kind of showing you earnings, right? And look what it's done. Typically, for the most part, when earnings came out, is the investors who were holding are cashing out, right? And you can just kind of tell that from the price action. Could be the same possibility here. So I can possibly see that, as this is coming down right here, right, it's going to begin to go on back up, probably is up as much as it wants, and then as soon as earnings release, it's going to probably crash down again. You guys can come back to this video and look at it, bookmark it, share it, save it, whatever you want to do, and come back. I could be wrong, but this is based on price action. This is what I'm seeing. Let's kind of do a little bit more due diligence on this and take a look at the actual stock. Let's just kind of, run through CIFR. Let me pull it up here on, we could just do Yahoo Finance. If you want to use FinViz or something like that, you can too to look at more details about it. But I'm just going to kind of quickly glance at it here. No, that's not it. It's capital CIFR. Cipher Mining. Oh, let me pull it up here for you guys so you can see it too, and just kind of get an idea of what I'm looking at. So this is pretty much what it looks like here at the chart, right? And this is, I believe this is what, daily. So kind of a different aspect to kind of look at it if you want to look at it year to date kind of thing. Obviously, it's still, January, but whatever. Here's some news. There's some news about it there. You could take a look at like some of the different things with the 52-week range, et cetera, et cetera. More statistics on it. Um, just kind of get a general idea of what is going on with it. And more than likely, the moves are going to be correlated to that. And this is, with the news that came out with the Bitcoin ETFs and things like that, could be a reason why it's probably moved lately. I believe this might have been on the watch list, I think, at one point too for you guys. But yeah, I mean, if this is something you're deciding to swing trade, is definitely a good risk to reward at this point. I would say if you're managing it correctly, especially with that news with the Bitcoin ETFs. I think what the SEC approved like 11 spot ETF Bitcoins. So that's some of the news that happened in the market too. I mean, yeah, other things that happened too, like Microsoft took over. Apple is the most valuable company, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's a few things that happened in the market today or this week, which was pretty interesting. Personally, I still think overall we are heading into the downward cycle of the market, coming off that all that print in 2020 and et cetera, and the market's being high. Now we're weeding out the weak traders and starting to gear up again. But this is my thoughts on CIFR. Think it is a potential swing there for you, um, if you wanted to kind of look at that. So hopefully that answers your question there. Now let's look who else asked for something. I believe there. Let's take a look at what Kim was asking. I believe for AGRO. And I'm sorry I haven't put out no swing trades, guys, because I mean, again, in my opinion, the market is on the downward slope. So I mean, I can find you guys things to probably possibly short. Don't want you to get margin called, but I'm not. I don't really like shorting. Um, when it comes to swinging because you can get margin called at any time. Most of the time when I swing trade and tell you guys about swing trade lists, I'll tell you if I'm going to be shorting it or not. I mean, it's really conservative, but mostly ideally I want it to be a long trade for you depending on how the company is. But yeah, let's take a quick look at AGRO. Let's look at it on a much more macro perspective here. Let's look at it kind of like in weeks. $4 range all the way to like a $12 range. So you got like 3x the movement there. Uh, so Kim, what I would do here is probably wait a little bit on this if you're gonna swing this bad boy. Just because of the fact that it's looking like it's topping out a lot, just price action wise. But let's take a look at AGRO. Oops. Yeah, see, I mean, it's trading at $10. You could wait a little bit longer for this one, possibly. Let's take a look. Anything significant here? I mean, it's farming, so it's wintertime, you know, not really seeing, and this could be a cyclical thing as well too. Kim, I'm not sure like what specific question you wanted me to ask about that, but um, yeah, this is something I think you still have a little bit more room for pullback, in my opinion, down to this level. It may take a while, but I think it is possible to wait for some more pullback here. Let's go back to a day. Yeah, see, it's definitely room for it to pull back down a little bit more. At least, I think like a safe haven area would be like the 850-ish range if it could come back down to that. Just from what I'm seeing here, I mean, the really, really solid support level is right there at like the $6 and change. But I think you can get at least from 8 to enough to kind of get out if you want with a pretty decent gain at a decent time. But again, this too has earnings coming up. I mean, it's just pretty much everyone in that time frame. And with it being winter, the way the winters have been looking lately, um, don't know how that will look out report. I would say just kind of compare it to like other times when it's reported in the winter and see how it's looked. As you can see, like here in March, had earnings, pulled back some more. Uh, let's see here. Here in the March time frame, is it somewhere right here? Yeah, pull back some more. So it's kind of a history of it. So yeah, that's my opinion on AGR. Let me know if you have any questions about that. I'll kind of break it down a little bit more for you too if I need to. And then who else asked for something? Oh, Mac, he asked for AQST, right? So let me see what your questions were too, because you had some good questions about that. You had said AQST. Sorry, guys, I was writing down all your questions for everyone that had some on a few stocks, and I didn't want to make this video too long, but wanted to get all your questions answered as much as I could. See if I can find it real quick. If I can't find it, I'll just pull it up there. Okay, so Mac had asked to kind of cover that. So they have an FDA decision date for April 28th on one of their products. That could possibly see a run. So let's kind of talk about that. Let's see here, and obviously, just kind of talk about the how it, FDA decisions it runs 3 times. Also, it's a strong buy rating. So yeah, so it has a strong buy rating in a few, target prices. Well, analysts do that all the time, guys. AQST, I mean, right here, if you're just looking at like just for what is this? Is this daily? Yeah, daily. Good runs on, good entries and exit points for you to, potentially make profits, but it's only a few cents difference in the gain from what 263 to like $1. So you got room for the run. It's AQST. Let's take a look at the statistics on this one. Excuse me. Actually, let me pull it up here real quick because I had it up here as well. So here's a little bit about the stats on that, right? So free float on it is 62 mil. And the reason why I'm kind of doing this one because AQST, with it being a small cap, it's not going to trade like the other ones I just reviewed. But yeah, so 62 mil float, overall market cap of 165. You can see a lot of the support levels, right here just from the order flow and the volume profile indicators too, kind of help demonstrate that. So kind of understand that if you are trading this stock here, it could turn pretty easily. Like you said, it could easily, move, which is good. I mean, especially if you want to kind of get in and out of it. If you're going to plan on like holding this until the earnings are released or the FDA decision approval is in April, let's take a look at that chart real quick, right? So usually a lot of times they'll show you on TradingView, I believe, sometimes where decisions are made. Recently they're just only doing reporting for earnings. But let's just take a quick look at it. Sorry, not there. Let's look at some of the statistics on that as far as AQST. So obviously a good idea to kind of do that. I mean, I'm not going to do too much fundamental analysis here, guys. That's for a fundamental analysis video. But if you are going to be swing trading something that's a small cap or anything like that, obviously I wouldn't get into it right now with it being as high as it is at this level, $2.63. If I did, I'll be very conservative. Well, not very, very conservative because again, it can move higher. It has done in the past. We know we've traded AQST before. It's been alerted before. But look at it from its inception on the downward trend. I mean, go in with like maybe, if I'm going in with like 100 shares or something like that, I'm gonna, be okay with taking a little bit of a hit. But it's kind of trying to break this level of support. I mean, this top right here, $2.62. Right now, technically, it's still a top. If it begins to break, let me pull this up here. If it does begin to break, this is the squeeze pro indicator. That would be good because that means you're probably entering a new level. The next one would probably be around, 350-ish, maybe even $4.30. But I think it has a little bit more room to pull back here. If you are planning on swinging this trade here, Mac, if it can get back down to maybe like the $1.30, $1.50 range, that would be a good good place to enter and just kind of park it until that happens. I don't see I don't see this thing kind of getting lower than that. If I was to get into it and swing it, yeah, I would my risk to reward, I would definitely once it hits like maybe 70 cents range, cut it. But I would wait to enter like 130, 150, just because of the movement of where it's at, and look at like the volume that it trades as well too. Is it only trade the average volume is 500,000, right? I think previous volume was 876, so it has potential to move like throughout the day, just not much of range. Um, but with the price targets and all that good stuff and the analyst ratings, let's take a look at that. So some more details on the actual stock. It has great numbers quarterly, like I tell you guys to look at when you're doing your fundamental analysis. We won't go into all that. Um, but take a look at some of the news that's been out about it. That's pretty interesting. It's been, rated by Zacks. Again, we all know how analyst ratings are, and I go over that part with you. Fundamental analysis won't really cover much too detail of that and what the purpose of that is. But again, you do get the ratings there and different news about it. So yeah, I mean, definitely worth something to kind of look into to hold if you just have some time to park a little bit of cash there possibly and wait for it in April to move. Worth a shot. I would definitely set triggers for this or anything like that if needed and kind of plan accordingly. But I think it's a pretty decent opportunity. I mean, just again, looking at the chart, but I would just want to wait till it came back down. I would feel more comfortable personally, like in that dollar range there, just risk to reward ratio wise. That's just my opinion. Okay. Last but not least, I'll do one more here, and we will review the last two trades here. Oh, HPE. This one was. Oh, so I'll do this one and I'll do one more after, which was just a regular day trade. So HPE was asked for me by Chris to look at, and I'll do the same thing like I did with AQST for this one, HPE. So if I was going to swing this bad boy, I absolutely, just looking at this here, would. looking at the chart, looking at this chart on a daily basis, and I would probably want to get in maybe around the $13 level. And you got to probably be asking yourself, like, why am I not aiming for, like $7, $8 level, et cetera, et cetera? Because things aren't what they were in like 2020. Don't get caught up. You got to remember when you're looking at swinging stuff, guys. You want to remember kind of like how that time frame was and what things can be considered during that time frame, as far as like market conditions, state of the economy, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to sit here and wait for it to come back down to $7.50 because I don't know if another COVID is going to happen like it did in 2020 and it drops that low. Probably not likely, but let's take a look at something more relevant. So recently, I mean, again, $13 range is where I would feel more comfortable with, just on a shorter perspective, especially if I'm going to hold it until like earnings and things like that. The reason, so just kind of looking at this here, is kind of interesting because HP has been acquiring a lot of different companies. And I mean, they've been downgraded quite a bit. So if it was me, if I'm going to look into swinging it, hold it around that time frame, and then, you know, cash out as they, complete what they need to complete. But yeah, just combine that fundamental analysis along with upcoming potential things is kind of like what I'm doing when I do the swing trades for you guys, and it typically works out well. Just gotta be a little versed in it, okay? So yeah, I think this is a good one to kind of look into it, and it's right along the lines of trading again, with many of the market indicators like moving averages, SMAs, other things, technicals that traders look at. So yeah, definitely think it's pretty decent. All right. Now, last but not least, I'll review UVI, AUVI. Okay. And then what did you had asked me for this one? I believe this was asked to me by, let's see, who asked that? Sharon. Okay. So Sharon, with the UVI, this one was a tricky one. This is the day trade. Let me go ahead and go down to the time frame we need to be looking at. So we did get alerted with this. Let me see if I can pull it up. And if you want to do all the due diligence you want to do, guys, with these stocks, as far as going back and looking at the price action, by all means, it just helps you out as a trader. So let's talk about this one. I'm gonna flat out tell you with this here, Sharon. This was a tricky one. If you were patient enough to keep this throughout the day, kudos to you. Me, I probably wouldn't have done it. Now let's take a look at this. UAV, AUVI, sorry, watching too many UFO videos, but AUVI was one of the first ones we were alerted that morning. We had the watch list, but then we got boom, that alert. Catalyst right there. That's all you need. Got the alert, popped up, and it filled. As it should, as it normally does. And I tell you guys, that's that's what they do. All right. So then it pretty much Friday was very, very was that Friday? The 12th? Yeah. So Friday was a very, very slow day. Look at this price action here. This thing popped up, filled, came down, and that was just pre-market. It stayed dead. It tried to do something in pre-market, but then got pushed back down again. Tried to do something again, got pushed back down again. And then it just grinded the rest of the day like everything else did. Then all of a sudden, what happens again? Power hour, right? So as I teach you guys in the course, that is a key time frame. Look at that. That's right dead on the money at power hour too. Right at 12 o'clock this happened. Spiked up, halted, came down. There is no way to kind of predict or determine that, hey, with this thing grinding the way this is, it's going to pop into the hour. Unless you have taken the course and you know about power hour. I mean, you know about it now. And again, power hour isn't always going to happen, but it is ideally going to happen when the stock is one of the most watched stocks throughout the day. But you got to remember what's happening with this, not just this, but every stock, is that underwriter or not underwriters, God, market makers are trying to balance out the price for the stock, especially during that day. So, and we'll get into this here in a second. So one of the things you got to anticipate is something like that happening. Okay, especially if you're trading the stock, if you have that enough patience and discipline. But yeah, there's virtually no way you could have known this, and of course, it got halted right here. You guys seen the halt videos I posted the other day. You should know about this. So it got halted, traded. Look at the price action. Let the candlesticks tell you what they tell you. Got filled, held support, got filled, then it broke, then it broke, then it broke, and it's probably going to break down some more. Okay, but that's just pretty simple stuff there. Um, cut your losses quickly and get out of it. But as you were saying though, there's no way to kind of be able to tell that unless you got in this bad boy and you held it at the very bottom and waited to see how the day played out for it before the end of the day and you just capitalized. I would of course sell on the way up because the problem for a lot of you guys is you don't know when to sell on the way up. You should already have a target anyway. But if you don't, watch the price action. Is it start to die down? Then go ahead and get out. It's kind of tricky, but you got to have a combination of those things. But that's UAV or AUVI. All right. So hope that helped you guys. Uh, like, follow, comment, share, all of the above. If you have something that you want me to review for you, look at, you want to message me, whatever, do so. I'd be more happy to if I get some time to take care of it. Sorry it's taking me longer than I expected to kind of do these kind of videos, but I got a lot going on outside of trading, especially around this time. You guys know it's tax time, which of course a lot of you traders from all these profits you've been making, it's tax time. Go watch the tax video. Understand, as you start making this money, these are things you're gonna have to start doing and knowing and learning. All right. But yeah, that's in the beginner course too as well too. So go check out that video. But yeah, it's tax time. A lot of things going on. Other than that, trying to set myself up for 2024, and at the same time continue to teach you guys and let you hang along with me as I'm trading and make some money as well too. And yeah, I'll try as things hopefully pray they get better. That's outside of trading, and I hope your lives are too. We're gonna definitely try to continue this going. And yeah, don't hesitate to reach out to me, guys. I promise I'll get to you as quickly as I can. If I don't, I'm not ignoring you. If you need to bother me, you can. But I got a lot going on. But I promise you, I'll eventually get to you. Okay. And shout out to those of you just been kind of keeping up with everything and just staying active with it. And for those of you who got in this thing and you're maybe like a year or 2 or 3 years in, or even if you've been rocking with me since day one when we started this, kudos to you guys because it's really hard to stick this stuff out. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna pretend to you like all these other personalities of trading, try to make it seem like this stuff is easy. It's not easy. It is rewarding, but it's not easy. But it's a journey, and it's going to continue to be a journey. That's just what this job is. You got to treat it like one, okay? Especially if you want it to be the job that you do, which I wouldn't want it. But the purpose of this, guys, is to fuel you being able to do things that you want to do, okay? Take this money, turn it into more money that you consistently have. Don't trade what you can't lose. So if you ain't trading with don't be trading with your life savings, especially if you've been doing this for less than 5 to 7 years. You should not be trading with money that you can't afford to lose, okay? But anyways, save all that stuff for another time for the course and all that good stuff. But yeah, don't forget, guys, continuously learn. The advanced course is up. I'm going to be adding more stuff in there. I'm going to put probably some more of the stuff that we're going to talk about here in a second for you guys that are in the that are subscribed into the review video, and just keep learning, okay? It's up. Check the website. I'm gonna update that thing as much as I can too. I'm sorry, I'm a one-man show here, guys. I'm doing all this, and it's a lot, okay? It's really hard to learn all these skills all at once. But anyways, the rest of you guys stay green. Click subscribe, like, all the above, share with a friend, and we'll talk with you soon. Now, for the rest of you guys,